Hello everyone, Gaynor here from Property Made Simple, and welcome to this video series whereby we share property tips and strategies, be it selling, investment and upgrading as well. Now today we will be sharing with you 5 factors to consider when you want to look about property upgrading and investment. Now in fact, for Property Made Simple, each time whenever we meet up a new client, these are the exact 5 major steps and factors that we go through with them so that we can really plan this entire journey for you guys. And now I'll be sharing with you guys these 5 major steps so that you can actually, look through, think about it, plan it before you actually want to execute these plans as well. So without further ado, let's zoom in now. So what are the 5 factors? The number 1 factor that you have to consider is actually what we call objectives. Now, why objectives? Now, you might be wondering, these are the objectives that both you and your spouse have been going through, right? But in fact, you really need someone, a third party, to actually validate these objectives for you and also to provide what are the other options that you can also look at and consider as well. Because sometimes when you are really just very focused in your own objectives, you may actually miss out some of the other good options that is available for you. And that's why objectives is very important, because we will be also going through things like your risk appetite, right? Whether are you a risk taker, or actually you are just looking to just buy one property by yourself, and even other options that you can consider. So objectives is something really very important that we will go through with you. Now, what is the second factor? Now, the second factor is what we call, is also really very important, finances, right? Why finances? Now, you probably have understood your own finances before you actually explore that you want to upgrade your property, stuff like that. But actually, in fact, you really also need someone to go through with you to explain whether is this move very risky, right? Or actually this move is actually okay for you. What if there's one day that you are jobless, right? Can you still finance this property investment or upgrading by yourself? So these are things, little nitty-gritty details that we will be going through to you, so that at least you need to know that someone can say yes and no to you before you actually look at the finances as well. So what is the third factor? The third factor, which is extremely important, which is property, right? And what we call this is the selection of the right property. Now, when we talk about property upgrading and investment, this is critical. Why? Because we are talking about profits. Making the best profits out of this upgrading and investment. And selection of property is critical because you are probably new in this area, right? You want to look for properties that make the most sense, right? So you need to understand what are the tips, strategies, how you are able to look for properties that are undervalued or has the best potential as well, be it if you are buying a resale or a new launch. So this is important because probably experienced agents will be able to share with you how are you able to look around and select the right ones for you. Now, what is the fourth factor? The fourth factor is the selling of your properties as well, right? This is the selling of the properties, right? Why selling? At the end of the day, these two are all linked. We are looking at profits. Selling of properties is also trying to understand how much more can you achieve in selling of properties. It can be just 10K, 20K, or even 30K, right? All these eventually will be profits, because the profits from selling of your property will go into parking into the properties that you are going to buy. And at the end of the day, these are all circulating between this and this, because what we are focused is profits. At the end, when you look at the whole entire journey, what you want is, when you want to plan for your retirement, eventually what you want is this profits. Now, the very last factor is what we call the planning stage, which is the timeline, right, of the funds and your movement as well. Why? Because you probably need the funds from the sale of your property to go into the purchase, right? And also the timeline, as in where will you be moving, you know, how to plan your movement, your renovation when you buy a new property, you know, stuff like that. So the timeline is also very important. Now, so at the end of the day, what I want you to learn and understand from this is these are the 5 major factors that you need to go through, right? Which is, I will repeat, the number 1 is your objectives. Number 2 is really looking into your finances, whether is it safe for you, you know, is there a safety net? How long can you last in terms of your financial planning to own these properties, you know, stuff like that. And the third will be selecting of the right properties for you, and also the selling of the properties, right? And the last one is definitely the planning of your funds, you know, stuff like that, which is the timeline. So these are the 5 major critical factors that we will be going through with you guys for the planning of property investments and upgrading. And I hope that through this, you can really, you know, work it out yourself at home, you know, after you watching this video, understand this a little bit better so that you can execute the entire plan, if you want to do it by yourself or you want to look for a professional as well. So Gainer here from Property Made Simple. Hope you enjoyed this video series, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.